2 weeks after he officially announced his re-election campaign, polling shows President Joe Biden's approval rating has hit a new low. In the latest Washington Post to ABC News survey, 37% of registered voters say they approve of the president's job performance, his lowest figure for that poll since returning to office. But there are also some troubling numbers for Biden's most likely opponent in the 2024 general election, Donald Trump. In the survey, more than half of all voters say Trump should face criminal charges for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election, his role in the January 6th insurrection, and for his alleged mishandling of classified documents after leaving the White House. Despite this, the survey shows Trump leading Biden by 6 points in a 2020 rematch, 45% to 39%.
Well, I'm not good math, and I'm going to prove it again, but it seems to me, Charlie Sykes, if 55% of Americans think Donald Trump should be indicted and sent to jail, I understand why Democrats are worried about Joe Biden's numbers. They should be worried that they are low. At the same time, if 55% of Americans think he should be indicted and face criminal charges and only 39 don't, maybe that's why he's sitting at 45%. There's not a real upside to Donald Trump. So Republicans understand this. It's why they're panicked. The Democratic Party right now, everywhere I go, everybody's also panicked about Joe Biden. So I just wonder, Charlie, everybody keeps saying this looks like the race we're going to have. And I just have to ask right now, is it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid that we are stuck with this. And by the way, I think that both parties are right to panic. I think they have reasons to be very, very concerned. Look, I mean, this poll may be an outlier and it may be early, but this also needs to be a wake-up call that this is really possible, that it is possible that Donald Trump could be elected president with all that that means and all of the implications of all of that. It also exposes, I think, Joe and Mika, I think it exposes the hollow men of the Republican Party who have been so reluctant to actually call out Donald Trump's unfitness because they've been basing a lot of their critique on the fact that he's unelectable. Well, that whole argument, that Donald Trump can't win, that's kind of being blown up at the moment. So at some point, if we're going to address the reality of the situation, Republicans are going to have to talk about why Donald Trump should not be the nominee and should never be put back into the Oval Office. And I think the Democrats need to wake up that simply the craziness and the illegality and the various indictments of Donald Trump are not necessarily automatically going to save us in 2024. No one is coming to save us. This is going to be up to us. I think that people have been waiting for something to come along, whether it's a media or an indictment, that's going to save us from all of this. And no, it's up to us at this point.